Hello friends, Pony Plays Card Games here, and today I'm wanting to talk about a hypothetical 4-player format for the My Little Pony card game. Now, on the Pony Plays Card Game Discord, Sapphire's been toying with the idea for a multiplayer format for a while now. I actually even forgot it's been that long, and I just had an idea which turns out to be basically the exact same thing. So I wanted to make a video of it, but full credit to Sapphire. You were definitely onto something. I wanted to make a video of what had popped into my head the other day and share it with everyone. And if you guys want to try it and leave comments down below of how well it worked for you, that'd be great. Let me know. Everyone playtesting it would definitely help to smooth out any bumps or kinks. But you see, the trick is that generally the My Little Pony card game is a lane-based combat system. You have 3 spaces to place your characters, and they interact with the characters in the 3 spaces opposed. Now, if you don't know the rules to the My Little Pony card game yet, I'll leave a little tag up here as well as a link in the description to my rules video so that you can go and learn that and then come back. Now, the issue comes in that if you have a multiplayer format, how are you then going to interact with all of the players when it's locked into the lanes? And the way to fix that, or the hypothetical way at least, still untested, is that your left-hand lane interacts with the nearest lane of the player to your left. And your right-hand lane interacts with the nearest lane of the player to your right. And your central lane goes to the central lane of the player across the table from you. Now, that way you're interacting with all players evenly, and players can't just pick who they want to target, so you can't gang up on someone as much unless everyone puts a character who's going to be interacting with that person. But there's also another really neat bit of balance that you get from the way victory conditions are scored in the My Little Pony card game. You see, you work with these plan cards down here. Once all of your plan cards are removed, then opponents hitting you can, or not even once all of them, once any plan cards are removed, so like those 2 gone from over there, if a player hits their opponent, they can progress story stages on their side of the field that are not covered by plan cards on the opponent's side of the field. Now, the way that I reckon this would work smoothly as a multiplayer format is that if you make a direct hit on an opponent, then you get to either interrupt their plans or progress your story based on their current board state, not based on anyone else's board state, which may be full of plan cards or have none. It's all just based on your interactions with the opponent that you're facing. So then another facet comes in is that you, even if every single player puts something in zones that are going to be coming at you, and you lose all of your plan cards, you don't really lose them. They actually go to your hand. So you get bunches of cards, and then every time someone hits you, they can progress their story. But instead of one player who hits you 3 times and progresses 3 stages, that's 3 different players who only progress 1 stage. So it's a lot slower, and instead of, in other games like Magic the Gathering, where you have 40 health to try and confront multiple players, this aspect of each opponent still having to progress through their story stages does a similar job of multiplying your life total in a way. So I think that it has a lot of potential merit and could really work. And I would like to run through a little bit of an example turn structure here. And I've got a couple of dice and stuff over here, because one last thing that I'll point out is that normally with this game, every column interacts in the same order no matter whose turn it is. So if it was a one-on-one game, then the first player interacts from left to right. But then for the second player, so if I said this was a one-on-one game with the person right across from me, then my left-hand column interacts first, this interacts second, this interacts third. But then when you go around to this side of the table, the right-hand column interacts first, the middle second, and the left-hand third. So it's right to left of the other player. Now, this actually isn't a big hurdle when you have multiple players, because if we just go off of the base premise that every column interacts in the same numerical order every single turn, then we can go, okay, let's say Fluttershy went first. So we're going to put this little rainbow dash here to mark that she went first. Left to right for her means that left goes first, middle goes second, right goes third. That's her interactions. Now, then we go over to Pinkie Pie here, who had her right-hand column go first, her middle column goes then second, and thusly, the left goes third. And then we go around to Rainbow Dash over here, and this right-hand column is her third, the middle is second, and the left is first. So she's actually left to right. So the first player and the player directly opposed to them are left to right, and the other two players are left with right to left. First, second, third. So it actually works really smoothly that you just say, okay, this was the third one to interact here, so anytime this column is called to interact, the column that's connected to it will be the third column of that turn. Or another way to remember it is the person across from the first player gets to go left to right, and the other two are right to left. Not really complex, but I put the dice there because it helps as a simple reminder. I'll put you there, just so it's not cluttering the board state. So I think that all of it, once you're actually in the swing of things, would not be hard to remember, and you can just put dice if you want to. Dice or an arrow card, whatever you want. Pretty simple. So we'll go and do an example turn. Now, on the first turn of any player in a game of My Little Pony, they don't get to interact. So we're taking that rule into this as well. So this will be coming into Twilight Sparkle's second turn. Actually, I'd set this up as an example diagram. I wasn't actually playing. I just wanted to set stuff out. So it's maybe not the correct scene count, but we're going to just roll with it here. So we're saying we're coming into the second turn. Fluttershy went first, which means that she got to, when there wasn't a Pinkie Pie there, make a direct hit. And this Rainbow Dash also got a direct hit. So we're going to say that that's how it's working at the moment. She has 2 plan cards gone. Everyone else has their full plan card selection, or that tank would have hit. So we may have one less. That'll be the board state. We're just going to roll with it, and I apologize that it's not super accurate, but for the example's sake, that doesn't matter as much. We're just doing examples. So we untapped, we got our new scene card, we're into turn 2, and we'll look at our hand, and we have got, what do we got here? Is that a bunch of 3 costs? There's a 1 cost spike. So we will go ahead and play our 1 cost spike here. Now, we go to the interaction phase, which every single lane that has a character on your field must interact, as with the normal game. There's very little that actually needs to change, which I think is really nice. So the first lane to interact is our right-hand most, because we're one of the players who is going right to left. I have a 2 inspiration spike. Rainbow Dash has a 2 inspiration tank. We can't inspire because our scene cards are not usable to inspire spikes or tanks. So we each knock each other out. Done. Then we go on to the next lane. This one here interacts across the table because it's the center lane, and we make a direct hit. Now with the direct hit, we can either interrupt their plan, or we can advance our main character up story stages to any stage that does not have a plan card on the opponent that we hit's board. So regardless of these other two opponents having full plan cards, we hit one that has two open spots. So we're just going to go and advance a story stage. And that story stage's ability triggers, which lets us draw a card. And then in the third lane, even though our opponent has a character there, we do not. So like in the regular rules of the game, there's no interaction. And that ends our turn. And we move along. And it becomes Fluttershy's turn again. And we untap, and we get a new scene, we draw a card. We've got 3 to be able to play something with. Well, there's a 3-cost Fluttershy there. So why don't we just go ahead and play that Fluttershy into our field here. And we will interact. And seeing as we are the first player, we go left to right. So this Angel Bunny, who I think was the one that got a bonus to inspiration for having a Fluttershy in play, but that doesn't matter as much at the moment because this Pinkie Pie's a 4, and we can't inspire Angel. So Angel's kind of going to lose here. So Angel will disappear. Now, one thing that I would like to put as a hypothetical to the game is that when a card ability is referencing to stuff on our field, it can see our entire field. But I think for game balance, if a card's ability references to an opponent's field, it should only reference to one opponent's field, because otherwise the idea of stuff like the Rainbow Dash that can remove all cost 1 or less opponents' characters, that would be a nuclear bomb in a 4-player format. Whereas if you instead said that a character who is interacting with an opponent's field through an ability can only see the opponent's field that its lane is trying to interact with, that would probably be a really clean solution to that kind of stuff. Pinkie Pie's Party Cannon that gives your character +1 inspiration for every character in play. If you instead said that it was on a character in a lane, so it's in that lane, it can then only see all of your field and all of the opponent's field in that lane, I think that might give some nice balance. But yeah, so back to the turn. This was the first interaction. The Angel Bunny got knocked out. The second interaction, Fluttershy gets to make a direct hit effect. Now here, there is a full selection of plan cards, so where our only option is to interrupt their plan. So they get to reveal that. It doesn't have a plan effect, and so it goes to their hand. And then the third interaction. This Fluttershy will find an empty lane here, so it will make a direct hit effect. Now against this person's board, Twilight Sparkle doesn't have a plan here, so Fluttershy can actually advance her story one stage, which triggers the story's effect to draw her a card. And that would end the turn, because all the interactions are done. So we move along to the next player's turn, and so on and so on. I think that this offers for a really nice balance. All of the turn flow does not get seriously messed up from the traditional rules of the game, and it should allow for full 4-player games with a very simple layout. And I just got some textures and drew this up, so if you do want a reminder sheet, it's just an A4 sheet of paper, which gave really nice room, and when you're not using deck mats, also kind of gives you your numbers of lanes. So I actually really think that's a handy little sheet there. So yeah, what do you all think? Let me know in the comments, and even come and join the Discord and join in the discussion. I'll leave an invite link in the description, and I can't wait to see you all there. Come and have some games. It'll be good. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.